Yes, you are ready. We can go there. Okay. What do you guys are still in confusion? No, that is not possible. Half class question and answers, half class subject because the subject. Okay, so as majority voted for class, we'll go for the class. Let's not waste the time. Okay, so let's go with and discuss about volumes. What is it, Nana? Volumes. So we know that about the volumes already. Volumes are the place where you can store the data inside it, right? Volumes. So, but here we already learned about the volumes, but we'll go little bit above step and talk about the volumes now. So mainly volumes are classified into two types. Volumes are classified into two types. So I'll write this here. You will get so many certification question and interview questions in this paint. So number one, we call it as EBS volumes that we know already. And number two, we call it as instance store volumes. What is it, Nana? EBS volumes and instance store volume. Tell me that. So there are two types of volumes are classified into two types. What are those? EBS volume and instance store volume. So till now that you have learned all is about EBS volumes. So the one which we have discussed now, root volume, additional volume, all these things basically are EBS volumes. Okay, so now can we say that EBS volume is a persistent storage, permanent storage? That meaning if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost? No. So if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is not lost. That meaning can we say it is a persistent storage? Yes, persistent meaning what? Permanent. Persistent meaning permanent. So here I'll write here persistent storage. That meaning permanent storage. That meaning if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is not lost. That is why we call it as permanent. What is the EBS maximum volume size, Nana? Yes, EBS volume maximum size is 16 terabyte. So how much storage that you have asked for, you need to pay for that or not? Let's say you got 100 GB, you need to pay for 100 GB or not? Let me ask you this question. Let's say you have created a volume called 100 GB. You have created a volume as 100 GB and you are using only 30 GB out of it. Do you pay for 30 GB or 100 GB? Very good. You remember that, right? So EBS is billable. EBS is billable. So all these things we know this already, correct? So this class, what we're going to do is let us go a little bit deeper inside the EBS volume. Let's go deeper inside the EBS volume. Generally, EBS volumes we have different types of EBS volumes. We have different types of EBS volume. Let's go one by one. So now let's talk about types of EBS volumes. So types of EBS volume. Now, whenever you are using the volume, this EBS volume, you need to select the type because we have different types of EBS volumes. So let's go one by one. The first type here is today. Let's say, for example, you want to launch an EC2 instance. You want to launch an EC2 instance and you want to use the volume. If you want to use the volume, definitely you need to select one type of the volume, no? Because we have different types. What are those? We'll see. We'll learn now. So we need to select mandatory. We need to select volume type. So based on that, based on a requirement, we need to select the volume type. Let's say you have a very regular general requirement. So you want to launch an EC2 instance. I want to have a good performance for general purpose. I'm just launching. I am not expecting super high extraordinary performance. I'm not expecting very bad performance. I want for normal general purpose, I want to have one volume. So for that, the first volume type, we call it as general purpose volumes. So in general purpose, there are two types, GP2, GP3. This is SSD volume. What do we call Nana? What is SSD? You know this, right? So nowadays you are purchasing the laptops. Will you go for the HDD or SSD? SSD, no, because which is faster? SSD only, no. So HDD is the older one, SSD is the newer one, where it is more faster. What is the full form of HDD? Hard disk drive. What is that? SSD meaning solid state disk or drive. So this general purpose is SSD or HDD? SSD. So that meaning is faster or not? Definitely it is a faster one. So when do we use this, Nana? For all general purpose requirement. For all general purpose requirement, you go for this. You don't know what to select. You don't know what to select. So which is a volume type that you can go for? General purpose. How many types are there inside it? Two types. What are those? GP2, GP3. Say that again. GP2, GP3. So you need to put it in your brain. Don't worry, I'll fix in your brain slowly now. Okay. So the next thing here is provisioned IOPS. Provisioned IOPS. Here we have two things. We call it as IO1, IO2. This is also SSD. Okay. This one is for high performance. High performance. Provisioned IOPS. Say that, Nana. Provisioned IOPS. What is the full form of IOPS here? Input output per second. What's the input output per second? So let's say, for example, if you have a requirement to have a super high performance, let's say you have your laptop, Nana. Your laptop, you have C drive, no? So indirectly, what is happening technically? So you have a hard disk. All the data is written in the hard disk, no? So how fast it is writing is matters or not? Yes. If it is writing super fast, then you will get a super high performance. Yes or no? So if you need to have, let's say, for example, now you want to launch an EC2 instance and you want to install database inside it. Database is expecting a high performance or not on the hard disk? Definitely yes. For these kind of requirement, will you go for general purpose or will you go for provisioned IOPS? Understood. Now I want to launch one normal EC2 instance, which is good for performance. I don't want to have something high, medium, good. Which one will you go for? General purpose. In general purpose also, we have two types. What are those? GP2, GP3. I'll tell you the difference slowly. Okay. So, Nana, which one is costlier? General purpose or provisioned IOPS? Because that is costlier. So, and here I mentioned IOPS. What is an IOPS? That meaning input output per second. That means how much input you are writing and how much output you are getting in the hard disk. Let's say if I say 2 times, I tap the table 2 times. You have a gap? Yes. I have speed, right? So that meaning how much input output you are getting based on the number of tappings, you will get the input outputs, right? Right. So per second, how many times you are going and writing it? Per second, input output per second. How much per second, how many inputs and outputs that you are doing it here? Depends. So based on that, here the performance will be affected. Let's say if I give per second 1,000, you'll get good performance? Yes. 5,000, good performance? Yes or no? 10,000. I'm giving IOPS, how many IOPS value, how much I'm giving? 10,000. You'll get good performance or not? Tell me. 20,000. Very good. 30,000. 40,000. 60,000. Finally, 80,000. How much fast you will get it? You'll get extreme high performance. So whenever you are selecting provisioned IOPS volume, you need to mention how many IOPS that you need. So what is the maximum IOPS that you can give? 80,000. What is the maximum IOPS you can give? 80,000. So if you give 80,000, you will get super high, extreme high performance. But remember, if you are getting super high performance, you will get super high bill also, correct? So if you need good performance, obviously you need to pay for it, right? So how much bigger the IOPS value that you give, that much high performance also you get, that much high bill also you will get. So this giving the IOPS values option is only for provisioned IOPS. Do we have for GP2? No. So GP2 doesn't have any IOPS. That means should we give the IOPS values to GP2? No. For which volume type that we need to give the GP values, IOPS values? Provisioned IOPS. In provisioned IOPS, what are these? Two things are this. What are those? IO1, IO2. Louder. Which one? IO1, IO2. You're getting it. So which one is faster out of these two? Provisioned IOPS. So which volume type we can provide? We can give IOPS values or configuration. Provisioned IOPS. Getting it? Which one is costlier? Yes. Nana, you are able to understand when to use which type? Okay, good. Slowly. So next one here we call it as throughput. What is it? Throughput. In shortcut, ST1. This is HDD, Nana. This one is HDD. When I say HDD, you will get in your brain, you will get one thing fixed, correct? So it is faster or normal? Normal one. So now here only you can select. If you want to have a good performance, either you can go with the general purpose and provisioned IOPS. And we have something called throughput, which is HDD format. And when do you use this throughput is basically, let's say, for example, I want to launch one EC2 instance. Okay. Obviously, you have a root volume or additional. You have a volume. That volume should be either one of this type. Either it should be GP2, GP3, I1, IO2, ST1, whichever it is. So now you have a requirement that I want to frequently use the data, but I want for lesser price. I want to regularly use the EC2 instance. I want to regularly use the data in my drive, right? But I want to have a less bill, or I don't care about that much high performance, right? I want to frequently use it, but I don't care about that much performance, and I don't care about, and I want to have it with cheaper price. Then if you have this kind of requirement, which type you can go for it? Throughput. What is the shortcut here? ST1. Which one, Nana? ST1. I'll write frequently access data with cheaper price. This is called throughput. And next one here we have is cold. Cold meaning SC1. This is also HDD. Now throughput is frequently accessed. And I have a requirement now. I have a requirement that I want to launch an EC2 instance, but right, but there is no full form ST1. Throughput meaning ST. That's it. So SE1 cold. So now guys, in throughput, I want to frequently access the data, but I want a cheaper price, correct? But in cold, I want to launch an EC2 instance, but I'm not using it regularly. If I'm not using regularly, why I need to pay more money? Correct? For that kind of requirement, go for which type, Nana? Cold. So what is the shortcut? SC1. So is it frequently or not frequently? Not frequently access data with cheaper price. And the last one we have called magnetic. In shortcut, we call it as standard. This is HDD. This guy, what is the last one? Magnetic. What is the shortcut of it? Standard. So this is HDD. This guy you don't use at all because this is a previous generation. AWS is saying that, Babu, this is the worst. So if you don't want to have any performance, you don't expect anything, you don't want to have much bill, go for magnetic. But there is no guarantee on the performance on it. Worst volume type. Okay. You can ask, sir, if it is worst volume, why AWS has put it here? Well, there are few customers where they need worst volume only because they don't want to put the more bill. So they don't expect super high performance. So AWS has to satisfy every customer, right? For that reason, if you want to, okay, let's say now, I know, guys, the specialty of mine is mostly whatever the doubts that you might get in your mind, I'll be explaining before that itself. So most of the time it happens like this. Okay, so magnetic here is, I was telling something. Okay, that's fine. So what are the things here? Tell me, what are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types are there? How many types are there? 5 types. What are those? General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. So now for definitely sure, you cannot remember these things. But should I make you remember in front of, in your eyes? Should I inject in your brain now? Okay. So what are the things? Say with me. So basically, so we should call like this. Say with me. GP2, GP3. Same slang you need to have. GP2, GP3. IO1, IO2. ST1, SE1 standard. SE1 standard. See me now. Tell me. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SE1 standard. So fix it or not? Last time, one more time. See me and tell me now. Huh? So start. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SE1 standard. Bas, khatam. Right? Injected. How, sir? Huh? Okay, now for all general kind of requirement, which type of volume type will you select? GP2. Very good. Which one, Anna? GP2. For extreme high performance, which one will you select? IO1 or IO2 will you select? So I need worst volume. I don't worry about the performance. Standard. Standard. So frequently I want to use but cheaper price. Throughput. And not frequently SC1. Understood? So like this you need to. So remember, every volume that you select, it can be a root volume, it can be additional. There are 2 types of volumes. What are those? Root to additional. So the root volume can be either one of this type. Additional volume should be either one of this type. That meaning every volume should be either one of this type. Which type? It's up to you which one you need to select. So do you have any question which one to select? No, because you know which type you need to select based on your requirement you need to select. And now tell me, sir, I don't want to select all these things. So which is the default one? So default one is GP2. Which one? GP2 is a default volume type. Pakka certification question. So write down. So GP2 is a default volume type. Is a default EBS volume type. What is the full form of IOPS, Nana? Input per second. Okay. So, which one are IOPS configurable? Which one are IOPS? We can give IOPS values there. So, which volume types are IOPS configurable? As per our IO1, IO2. But remember, GP3 also will come under IOPS configuration. Which one, Nana? What are those? IO1, IO2, and GP3. There will be a certification question like this. Which volume types are IOPS configurable? That meaning I can give the values of IOPS. If you give the values of IOPS, what you will get? You will get high performance. No. What is the maximum of IOPS value that you can give? 80,000 you can give. So for which volume types you can give IOPS values? IO1, IO2, and GP3. So GP3 will come under IOPS configuration. So for GP, if you ask, sir, how about GP2? Then for GP2, AWS is giving some default IOPS values. Is it configurable? No. GPT is configurable? No. But AWS is giving 1:3 ratio. It is giving how much? What is the ratio? 1:3 ratio. That meaning if you create 1 GB volume, 3 IOPS automatically you will get 1:3. Let's say you create 10 GB volume. How many IOPS you will get? 30. If you create 100 GB volume, how much you will get? 300. So like this, how much size that, let's say you created a GPT volume, how much IOPS that you might already get? 300 IOPS. Because how much GB you create into 3, you will get IOPS automatically. For which type? GP2. Which type? GP2. GP3 is IOPS configurable, no? So we can give how much ever we want. Maximum up to how much? 80,000. So which one are IOPS configurable now? IO1, IO2, and GP3. Certification question. So write down. So IO1, IO2, and GP3 are IOPS configurable. Meaning you can input IOPS values. More IOPS that you give, you need to pay that much more money. Yes or no? More you input IOPS values, the more bill you get. The more performance and bill you get, both you get. And a GPU has a default what ratio? How much ratio? Yes, GP2 has default IOPS. How much? 1:3. 1:3 meaning for 1 GB you will get how much? 3 IOPS that you get. Is it IOPS configurable? Not configurable. Okay. Slowly, aram se will do. Okay. Okay. So which is the volume that you will get automatically when you launch an EC2 instance? GP2. Which volume? Root or additional? Root volume will get. So root volume should be either one of this type, no? Definitely every volume should be either one of this type. So which type? Root volume support everything, Nana, except 2 volumes, except 2 types, ST1, SC1. So root volume doesn't support ST1, SE1. So that meaning root volume support which volume types? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, standard. So does it support ST1, SC1? No. So this is also certification question. So root volume support these volume types. Which one? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, and standard. So can we say root volume doesn't support? Root volume doesn't. Ma. This one, if I increase the paint will go bad. That's the reason. Sorry for that. So root volume doesn't support ST1 and SC1. That is the problem with our four eyes people, including me. So root volume support what volume types? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, standard. So does it support ST1, SC1? No. How about additional volumes? Additional volume supports all. Additional volumes support all types. Okay. And is this clear till here, everyone? Is it visible? I understand. Bear with us for 1 or 2 days. Additional volume supports all type. Okay. So one question for you. One volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? What is your answer? Answer is no, definitely. But on that day, I told you that Pakka, one volume cannot be attached to multiple EC2 instances. Pakka. But the problem is, not problem, there is one twist there. Answer is yes. One volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. At the time I said no, because by default, now anyone ask you also, say no. Answer is no. But recently AWS came up with this concept. IO1, IO2, provisioned IOPS volumes are there. No, especially these volumes can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. Only that type. At that time I said no, because I cannot talk about all these things on that day. No, different types. If I say all this thing, you will get confused. For that reason, I said, one volume cannot be attached to multiple EC2 instances. But now you can do it, right? So which type of this volumes? IO1, IO2. Pakka certification question. Please write down. IO1, IO2 can be multi-attached. Attach the same EBS volume to multiple EC2 instances at the same time, but in same availability zone. Guys, volume and tell me this, one EC2 instance and volume should be in the same availability zone or different? Same availability. So that meaning if you have IO1, IO2 volumes, you can attach to multiple EC2 instances in the same availability zone or different? Same only. And there is also one certification question here. How many EC2 instances you can concurrently attach? 16. How many? 16. Up to 16 EC2 instances at a time can be attached. Clear, Nana? Is it clear till here, everyone? Okay. So that is all about EBS volumes. Okay. Online, is this clear? Okay. See here. So coming to what is another volume type? Volumes are classified into two types. What are those? No. Don't go to root volume. Volume come on that on one level up. Classified into two types. What are those? EBS volume and instance store volume. EBS volume and instance store. So did we learn all about EBS volumes now? Yes. So next, let's talk about instance store volumes. Which one? In shortcut, call it as ISV volumes. What is that? ISV. ISV. So many people in certification, they'll confuse because in certification, they call it as ISV in shortcut. Sir didn't tell about ISV. What is this ISV? ISV is nothing but instance store volumes. Nana, EBS volumes are persistent or not? Persistent. Persistent meaning what? If you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost? No. But in instance store volumes, these are not persistent volumes. What is this? Not persistent. What is the meaning of not persistence? Temporary volumes. What is that? That meaning, if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost. Data is lost. You understand the difference? EBS volume, permanent. Instance store volume, temporary. So if you stop and start the EC2, like you have temporary storage, no? So AWS is also giving a temporary storage, where if you attach the storage to the EC2 instance, you can use it. You can put all your data, temp files, all temporary data, you can put it. But make sure, if you pusuku stop and start, all your data is gone. So if you want to maintain that not to stop the EC2 instance, you can use it. No issues. So that is what temporary purpose. So we should not argue here because, sir, why temporary, why that, why this? This is temporary volumes, right? So why should we get deleted? Why it is temporary? Clearly, AWS is saying it is temporary. So whatever the data you put inside it, it is temporary. When, until, unless, if you stop and start, data will be lost. Okay, so is it persistent storage or not persistent storage? Not persistent. Can we also say temporary volumes? Yes. That meaning, if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost or gone or deleted. Yes, we can use it in the real time. That's what I'm saying. It is temporary volumes, no? Can't you? Okay, hold on. No, you'll get it. EBS volumes are chargeable or not, billable or not? EBS volumes are billable. But our favorite thing here, instance store volumes are free. It is free. Instance store volumes are free. Instance store volumes are free. And also, in certification, they will ask, there is another name for instance store volumes. There is another name for instance store. I'll write, you pronounce it. Huh? Say the, what is that? Huh? Ephemeral storage. What is that? Ephemeral, not imperial. Imperial blue. So, ephemeral storage. What is that? Ephemeral storage. So if you remember that also, no problem. But concept should be there, right? Ephemeral storage. So what is another name for this? Ephemeral storage. Okay. I'll ask you one certification question. Let's see whether you answer or not. You're done writing? Okay, see me. If you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volumes are deleted or not? Hmm? What is your answer? Yes or no? You say no. But without logic, it's not possible. No? There should be a logic, right? You only tell me now. I have this EC2 instance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many? And how many volumes are there? Obviously, 5. So you think you said that, sir, I have no use of this EC2 instances. And then what you did, you terminated it. You terminated all EC2 instances. Your root volumes will be there or it will be deleted. It will be deleted or not. Just now we said no. Logic, no. If you keep on, if you leave that root volumes like that, what is the use? You have launched 50 machines. You terminated 50 machines. 50 volumes will be there like that only. What is the meaning of terminate? Kill. I don't want you. Kill it. So if you kill it, do you need the baggage of that person? Not really. So kill it. So if you terminate the EC2 instance, you are by default your root volumes also deleted because no, I'll telling you because there is one small option called delete on termination. What is that? That is checked or enabled. When you're launching the EC2 instance, the root volume will come with default. No. For that D1, there is a property called delete on termination. What is that? Delete on termination. That delete on termination is enabled. That meaning whenever the EC2 instance is terminated, automatically root volume will also get deleted because delete on termination is enabled or not enabled? Enabled. Let's say when you're launching the EC2 instance, delete on termination, you have disabled it. What will happen? Root volume will remain. This is an interview question, right? Interview question, interview will ask, hey, is it possible to retain the root? First he'll ask, if you terminate the EC2 instance, your root volume also deleted or not deleted? Your answer should be by default, yes, deleted. Okay, then he'll ask, if I want to retain the root volume, what should I do? What option? What is that option? Delete on termination. Say that. One more time. Delete on termination is enabled or disabled? Disabled. If you disable it, root volume will not be deleted. Okay, question again. If you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volumes are deleted or not? Yes, deleted. Another question. If you terminate the EC2 instance, additional volumes are deleted or not? Answer is no. Because all your data is saved where? C drive or D drive? D drive or E drive. D drive, E drive are all additional volumes. So by default, will you delete the additional volumes? No. But if you want to delete it, what is the option? Delete on termination should be enabled. So it is based on your requirement, whether you want to enable it, disable, you can. But what is the default? Default root volume will be deleted. Additional volume will be not deleted. But if you want to do ulta or if you want to do whatever you want, you can go and enable, disable anytime. Clear? Certification question? Don't worry, I'll write everything for you. So here, if you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volume will also be deleted because delete on termination is enabled. Okay. Now, if you want to retain root volume, can you retain? If you want the root volume to be retained, disable delete on termination while launching the EC2 instance. And also, if you terminate the instance by default, additional volume will not be. Yeah. I'll come to that point. That is the next point. Okay. So we have this habit. Whenever someone say free, Avisham star. Uh, so whenever, what I'm saying, yeah, whenever we say free, so whenever we say, we always ask how much, yes or no, right? So basically, see, listen this carefully. No, instance store volume, we can create volumes, no? So EBS volumes can be created by you. EBS volumes can be created by customers, by you and me. Instance store volumes cannot be created by you. Automatically, AWS will give you the ISV volumes. Why? When? No, when you launch the EC2 instance, how many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? 7. So one of the step is we need to select instance type, no? What is the instance type that we select? T2 micro. T2 micro. While selecting T2 micro, not T2 micro, but if you select bigger instance type, which has 100 GB RAM or 200 GB RAM, 500 GB RAM, bigger instance types are there, no? If you select this, automatically AWS will add few ISV volumes to the EC2 instance. AWS will add automatically few ISV volumes. Is it us that we create ISV volumes? No. Who will give automatically? AWS. When you're selecting a bigger instance type, then automatically AWS will attach few instance store volumes for free. For free. eBase volumes are billable. Instance store volumes are free. But he's giving what free, but he's telling one condition. Babu, if you push start, all your data is lost. You're getting it? So is it possible for us to select the instance type and size? No. Who will give the size? AWS will give it. So I'll write that here. Based on the instance type, you select mostly big instance type. You will get the instance store volumes automatically attached by AWS for free. Is it clear, Nana? Clear? Okay. Answer me this. If I stop and start the EC2 instance which has EBS volumes attached, data is lost? Answer is data is lost? No. If I reboot, data is lost? EBS volumes, data is lost? No. So if I say here, reboot, data is lost, data is not lost. Okay. Another question. If I stop and start the EC2 instance, which has instant store volumes attached, data is lost, data is lost. Reboot, see here, reboot, data is lost. If I reboot, data is lost or not? Answer is yes. So here, remember, data is not lost. Data is, see here, guys, you understood this or not? EBS volume, stop and start, data is lost. Reboot, data is lost. Instance store volumes, stop and start, data is lost. Reboot, data is lost. Generally should be lost, no. But the concept here is data is not lost. Definitely you might have a question, why? Obviously, why? So most of the people doesn't know this concept, because this concept is happening in the back end of AWS in the data centers. How that is happening? What is the reason behind reboot data is not lost? We'll discuss in the next class. What, sir? Because if I start this topic, the 15 minutes is not sufficient for me. That's the reason. Okay. Okay. Are we able to identify the data is stored in ISV? It is you that you should be creating the volume while launching the EC2 instance. So we clearly knows. Nana, which one would you suggest? EBS volumes or instance store volumes? EBS volumes. Okay. Any other questions? You understood this topic? So no, so question is, when AWS provide ISV, are we able to identify the data is stored in ISV or ES volume? So we don't need to. Yes, clearly, Yasin. So what does this mean is, Yasin. So guys, Yasin is asking, sir, are we able to identify the data is stored in ISV or EBS volume? Simple. When you launch the EC2 instance, you attach the volumes. No, volumes are attach, detach. C drive, C drive is nothing but root volume. D drive is nothing but additional volume. So automatically D drive, E drive, F drive, all these you will get it by default. Instant store volumes. C drive is the EBS volume. And when you launch a bigger instance type, automatically D, E, F or G or only D or only C or only F. So these volumes will be automatically come when you launch an EC2 instance. When you log in the EC2 instance, D drive, E drive, F drive is already pre-exist will be there. Those pre-exist volumes are ISV volumes, instance store volumes. That's how we identify. So next, use case for ISV in real time. Why do we use temporary purpose? Let's say you want to store any files where you don't want to, but data is not that important, where unnecessarily you do not want to store in EBS volume, right? Processing, caching, all cache data can be put in temporary volumes. Yes, all these things can be a temporary. Let's say in your laptop also we have /temp. No, you used to go and delete every time, right? So that temporary volumes, that temporary data is not required or not required. Not required. No, if you lose that data, also not required. That's why it is in temp. Correct. Similarly, here also ISV use cases would be for any kind of processing, any kind of data handling, any kind of caching, any kind of calculations. So you should know. Are Pusuki, if I stop and start, data is lost. So think that in mind and then put the data inside it. If you think that if something goes wrong, also if I'm okay, that kind of data only you put it. If you don't want to put it, don't put it. Simple as that. It's not mandatory to use it. It is temporary volumes. Okay. Maybe, sir, if you want to create a switch role, do we need to use IAM user? We can use it. You can use both. Yasin. Any other questions? Can we disable delete on permission after the launch of instance? No. You have to do it only at the time of launching the machine. Any other questions here offline? Pricing we see when we go into the lab. Yes. So tomorrow I'll take off. Okay. So tomorrow there is no class. So let me take rest so that on Monday I'll come, hope so, freshly with my big boss voice. Many people say that, online people. How billing is done for EBS? Don't worry, billing and all simple. Okay, there is question, sir. How billing is done for EBS volume? How much size that you create, that much bill you pay. No, simple. 100 GB you create, you pay for 100 GB. So AWS will charge for 1 GB. So we need to go and check in the console for 1 GB how much they'll charge into how much GB you used. Simple. Any other questions? I need the full question, Shiva. What about IOPS, EBS? I didn't understood that question. Yeah, we need you learn with us. Sure. Yeah. Only on storage it depends. Yes. Okay, good. Take the screenshot. So our next class will be on Monday, Nana. Okay. Okay. Done. But can you give the final CC for today? Shiva, both. Shiva, both. Answer is both. Sure, we'll upload. Sir, we have Linux at 6 p.m. Avuna? But you have 6 p.m. also our class, no? So will you go for Linux or AWS? Obviously AWS, no? So the Linux classes, the timing will also change. Maybe you can go with the next batch. Any time it's free for you, no? So don't skip AWS class and go to Linux. Okay, that's really bad. So wait until the next batch come. Maybe at 4 o'clock he might start, Imran. So you can go there. Linux is like side munching. Don't skip the main course and then go for only side. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you on Monday with the next continuation.